are so excited to present what we've created for you. We are Myers Creative Group. So the main theme, this is the Begin Again campaign. We're going to tell you all about it, tell you all about our research. We're going to get the nitty gritty, and it's going to be fun.
Are you guys okay?
I'm Abby Baker. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee.
I'm Jordan Hegro. I'm from Boulder, Colorado.
I'm Megan Falk. I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
I'm Olivia Russo. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
I'm Nick Myers. I'm from Gulfport, Mississippi.
And I'm Will Morrison. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee.
All right, y'all. So with this Begin Again campaign, we're going to start with the objectives. We are going to raise y'all's brand awareness. By doing that, that's going to be social media posts, that's going to be television ads, that's just going to be a whole conglomerate that we'll get into later. On top of that, we're going to get rid of those, we're going to eliminate those negative stereotypes that come with retirement communities. Our Begin Again campaign is going to bring to life everything that our retirement community has to offer instead of letting those stereotypes weigh us down. Finally, we're going to get y'all some new tourists, some new foot traffic. This campaign is going to bring some local brand awareness. We're going to make it a household name.
Sorry, so some of the strengths of Traceway is that you guys do have state-of-the-art housing and you have nurses and all this care that's available, and you also have a great community. And it's just all these people around the same age, and they get to interact and mingle together. And specifically with the cottage living, one of the best things is that you kind of get to take away, like when you move out of your house and move into this community, you get to eliminate like some of the most basic things, like just so tedious chores. And so that's a really great plus of moving into a cottage living, and you're still independent, doing your own thing, but you still have all those amenities and new things available to you. Some of the weaknesses is that you guys are on a no vacancy. You guys have so much, which is a great thing because you have you have no availability, but that could also be a really big downside because people are going to start considering your competition. So we're just kind of going to explain more about how we can help improve that.
Yeah, so with the opportunities, we saw that new construction would actually increase revenue. And by showing the construction, it would show the target audience that the community is flourishing. And we also wanted to create Traceway as a household name and have early brand recognition. And also the cottage living offers two choices, so if you don't want a 2-bedroom, you could always do a 1-bedroom. You can choose the level of involvement you want within the community, and you could also receive assistance on a want and need basis. And some of the threats that we saw were the stereotypes of retirement communities being lonely and neglectful. Sometimes the pricing may not be ideal for some residents that are looking, and competition is also a huge threat, obviously. And the last threat that we saw were probably people looking at in-home nurses as a better option if the pricing is similar.
So with dealing with retirement communities, you run into a few problems, or a lot of problems. The biggest one we found being stereotypes. Dealing with stereotypes in the retirement community is a huge deal. And with this campaign, we want to break some of those stereotypes for you. Another situation that arises uniquely with Traceway is the fact that y'all are overflowing. That's, like she said, that is a great thing. It shows that y'all are growing, but something needs to be done to continue that growth. And that is something we would like to address for y'all.
So ultimately with the Begin Again campaign, it's definitely going to be future focused. We're going to get a lot of that, live your life to the fullest and be everything. You're not confined to your home, you're not confined to the parameters of your age. We wanted to bring in a lot of earthy colors to emphasize that it is natural to age and it is wonderful to age. And on top of that, that's why you see these pictures, they are happy, they are doing things. We're not, we don't want to use promotional content. That's just an older adult sitting on the porch. We want them to be out visiting while Traceway is taking care of their lawn and their amenities at home.
We think there's adventure to be lived beyond retirement. So our target audience that we found is, the first one is a resolution seeker, and that's mostly going to be with our research and through our survey. We found it's mostly the daughters, and they're kind of helping their parents transition from one place to another, helping them decide what they should move, like where they should move on to next.
So the second target audience would be the future residents. So this would be people 60 and above. They're looking to move from their current living situation to a new need-based independent living facility. According to Comfort Life, we found that residents look at retirement communities for 6 main reasons: community and social opportunities, the security, the carefree living, opportunities to learn new things, easy access to healthcare, and unexpected extra amenities.
And we found that in between these two target audiences, they kind of intersect because the daughters or sons, but it's mostly daughters, but the children are helping their parents kind of transition, and they're making this decision together. So they're not completely two separate things, and we kind of explain that more in our campaign book, but they are intersected together.
So the first insight we found is that the people, the resolution seekers and the future residents both wanted to create a future with Traceway. The resolution seekers are really highly focused on providing their parents with the best future that they can. We want to break the stigma surrounding retirement communities, so that way both resolution seekers and future residents, when it comes time to make that decision, they will have in the back of their head that those stigmas are erased and not the same. We understand that it is a very fearful and anxiety-driven talk when talking to your parents about the future and transitioning into a retirement community, but age is inevitable, and we think that getting on the train and talking early and being able to show them that the future and that their life to live is high quality is important. And
so our second insight that we found, like you just said, is high quality living. We found that our future resident audience, their main question when talking about retirement communities is it a happy place to live? And we found that translates into, is this the best place for me to live? There's no mention of, is it too costly or is it too far away from my family? It was, I want a happy place to live. And by creating a happy place to live, that also is the easiest way to create a happy, healthy elder. And so we found in our survey that these stereotypes are what are really holding y'all back from this happy, healthy environment. And by busting those stereotypes, we believe that we can achieve this best place to live, and that being Traceway.
So this is our execution plan. You'll also see a little bit more about it in the campaign book. So when uncovering the insight of the resolution seeker and just kind of diving into that demographic, we found that the best audience that we want to reach with these media outlets are women in the age range of 39 to 50. We have a budget of $30,000, and we would like to do this in a span of 6 months. We would like to use 2 billboards that we want to place in the cities outside of Tupelo. We would like to do a television ad that will locally run with WTVA. We would like to do that, or we would like to have that air once a week. We'll also use Indoor Advantage, which is another media outlet that produces print ads for local restaurants and bars that gain a lot of traffic, sorry. We would also like to do a media kit. These are a few of the news outlets that we would like to use. A radio ad that we will contact Mississippi 98. And then you have to keep going to the next slide, please.
Yeah, and we want to be a big part of helping Traceway get their media campaign out. That's why I was up on the slide twice on where we're going to send those media kits, because we want to do something that works for y'all, and y'all can do it on your side too, and we'll just...
And then, like mentioned before, we want to start doing more tours. So we would like to do an open house as well to show that Traceway always has their doors open. And here are a few of the social media platforms that we would like to use. We'd like to use Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And then over here you'll see kind of a monthly budget and just schedule of how we'd like to use this.
So why media? Why TV, radio, and social media? Throughout our research, we found that these are the 3 most prevalent types of media that people consume daily. We found that 98% of respondents noted that television ads are their primary source of retirement community advertisements. And so we want to expand on that, but also, expand into social media and radio advertising as well.
sorry. So ultimately, we set aside $6,000 for a refreshing video. Y'all already have one, and it is wonderful. But through the research, secondary research we have done, 62% of consumers who receive a bad quality video or not that high class production have a bad brand image, or at least it doesn't resonate the same way that we want Traceway to be seen, because Traceway is a thriving community. On top of that, we also have seen that people have hesitated to purchase the brand. In this case, that would be hesitating to consider Traceway as a retirement community option, and as y'all saw in the threats, that could be a problem sending them to your competitors.
So we have an idea of a storyboard. As we said, we have allotted $6,000 of our budget towards it, but it is our professional opinion that you guys maybe should allot more money towards it if you have the money in the budget, after the time comes. We want to use various B-roll footage just throughout the campus, like many of the services and the amenities offered, the different levels of care and housing. We also want to show the beautiful campus, like the lake, the trees, and just every service that's rendered and offered at Traceway.
So why choose radio? We contacted Miss 98, and they kind of told us that, as you can see in the graphic, which is also in your campaign book, that 54% of the listeners are women, and they are the same age as our resolution seekers, which are between 30 and 59. And so we kind of want to run it 3 times a day, 5 days a week for 6 months, and we're going to run it during 8 a.m., 1 p.m., and 5 p.m., which is commuting hours, and it's also a country music station. And through our research, we found that that's what mostly those people that age are listening to. So we thought that would be the best way to kind of reach them during those hours.
So as you can see from this graph, it's kind of hard to see, but 81% of people aged 30 to 59 are using Facebook and Instagram. We thought that this would be the best way to target these resolution seekers. It would target the majority of our target audience. Other popular social media platforms that we would use would include YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. And an advantage to using Facebook and Instagram and Twitter campaigns is that the cost is extremely low.
So here are a couple of Instagram posts and Facebook posts, especially with our commercial that we'd like to use. We will also use some of the B-roll from that and put it into the Instagram and Facebook videos and Twitter campaigns as well.
And here's an example of a Google AdWords search. So when anybody types in the keywords senior living, senior care, assisted living, or retirement home, it will automatically pop up with this ad.
Right, and so all of these ads, as kind of mentioned earlier in our kind of creative strategy and the Why Begin Again campaign, we want to use very similar photographs, very similar colors, that way that our entire campaign has a cohesive look, and we're using the Traceway brand image. As you can see, we also try to incorporate that into our presentation, just the beautiful flower that y'all have. Just having a cohesive, this is kind of what, if we were to post it one day, this is what the whole thing would look like all day. So, and that would get promoted.
Going along with that, here are some of our print advertisements. Like Jordan said, we'd like to use earthy colors and just keep it lively and sweet, and yeah.
Right, so I know y'all are probably thinking, how are we going to evaluate all of these results? I know Olivia in her execution plan brought up that we want to do 2 open houses. These are going to be over the course of the 6 months. One probably June, July, kind of early on, see what kind of foot traffic we're getting. And then come December, which, through research we saw that in February and March is when people really start looking at retirement communities. That's why our campaign is going to end in December. We're going to end with a nice kind of winter-themed open house, see kind of where people saw our advertisements, where they heard of us from. And on Traceway's part, that's something we would ask of y'all too, to be engaged with the tours that are coming in, saying, hey, where did you hear about us? Hey, did you see it on a billboard? Anything local, anything media? On top of that, the brochures that are normally handed out after tours, we want to have a survey to that, so we can, really kind of see, okay, if you're not looking at Traceway right now, maybe it's in 2 years, or maybe it's for your mom or your dad, and that way we can just kind of keep that consistent survey, like the one that we created for this. We created a community perceptions page, sent it out all over Facebook just to see just other media sources. So we'd like to kind of keep that survey idea going and really get y'all the feedback that you're looking for.
And another way to easily track our campaign is through the social media. You'll be able to judge your awareness, the growth of your awareness through interactions and Facebook analytics and other tools such as that.
So here's to the beginning between Myers Creative Group and Tracer Retirement Community. Thank you. Thank you. Do you have any questions for us?
Tell us a little bit about your market research, how you did it, and how many responses you got, and that kind of stuff.
All right, so we really kept it kind of to ourselves because we realized that our generation is not making the decisions. Our generation is not the decision maker. They're definitely not the future resident, at least I hope not, you know. But because of that, we also realized that Facebook was a huge marketing tool for our target audience that we kind of had already hypothesized about, thinking that just on an age basis, the stereotypes of, okay, about, you know, anywhere between like 75, 80, you're kind of looking at that retirement community. Your kids are probably, give or take, 20 years younger than you, just because that was how the baby boomer generation was. Ultimately, we reached out to our Facebook, we sent out emails, just got a lot of feedback. We got nearly 150 respondents in less than a week, and with that, we asked them things of, where do you most commonly see these advertisements? Specifically, we kind of threw in a little twist with that question. We decided not to include TV because we really wanted our respondents to be engaged. We wanted them to click that, my option's not on here, so I'm going to click other and I'm going to write it in. And we had, I think, what, nearly 70 or 80 people really give us that feedback saying, TV is where we hear about y'all. Definitely some radio, but we are watching the TV and we are focused on that. And a lot of people responded with the Facebook banner ads, the side columns. So that's why Liv went in and made those, who else made those Facebook ads? Yeah, our creative team made those ads, just kind of show you what that's going to be looking like, popping up on our target audience's feed.
Did y'all have any response from the newspaper? I didn't see that listed or anything like that. Was that an option?
Honestly,
It was an option. I think it was like
it was like
50,
2 or 3.
it was like 40-something%, honestly. Another thing we asked in our survey was like the demographics surrounding the person. So that's how we were able to gauge that our target audience was predominantly women who were 39 to 55 years of age. We didn't just guess. Like that was part of our survey was, first with demographics, and then it was how have you heard? Do you have a family member in senior living care? Like if you did, which one do you align more with? And so, in the future, we could probably ask a lot better and more like oriented questions with you guys' help. But we thought that was a really good feedback for.
And also, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but that's also how we found the negative kind of connotations with living in a retirement community. Is that was one of our questions on the survey, and so those were the top ones we had, and they really lined up with the Eden initiative. So we thought that was really like true to what it is, and we wanted to add that in there to make sure that y'all knew that we really wanted to combat those negative stereotypes and hopefully create some adventure into post-retirement and make people realize that there is more to be lived and that you can begin again and start over at Traceway.
Where did y'all get the term resolution seekers?
So
I think we went through like 10 or 15
yeah, we were
different
trying to find the
dimensions.
right name, but with like our secondary research that it's children are helping their parents, they're helping their parents pick out the next steps to their life. We thought, they're coming up, they have all these questions, and it's like, it can be a very stressful time, and it's stressful on everyone. And so they're trying to find a resolution to these problems. They're trying to find, where can my parents go next? I don't want them to feel left alone. I don't want them to feel neglected. Let's try to come up with an answer to this problem. And so the resolution seeker is kind of where we came with that.
So y'all came up with that term?
Yes.
We just kind of
Pretty good.
Good job. Awesome.
Okay, guys, thank you very much.
Thank you all so much.